Man, y'all, welcome back. It is another episode of the Late Night Vision Show. It is great to be here. Excited to do this for you every week. Yes, we are right in the swing of things. We're kind of switching it up these days, doing some content shows, doing some reviews. It's really fun to do these content shows. The last one we did last week, we talked about, last week we did a review, the Adder V2 review. The week before that, we did the 3 ways to kill your thermal. So if you want to know what not to do with your thermal so you don't kill it for this upcoming hunting season, you need to watch that show. To help me talk about this week's show, the owner of Outdoor Legacy, and also talk about Outdoor Legacy, Mr. Jason Robertson, the owner of the company. We're going to roll out the red carpet for you. You know, the owner role, you demand a certain type of respect when you own a company like this.
I don't think I demand anything, and I don't. Yeah, and I get very little respect. No, I'm just
it's
kidding.
true.
Hey,
That's true.
glad to be here another week, guys. We do have a great show for you. Today, we're going to talk about kind of some of the dangers of night hunting, some of the horror stories. We're actually going to get personal. Hans and I are going to both tell something pretty scary that happened out in the field of both of us. Something going wrong that we didn't want to happen. And I guess I would say this. It's easy to tell all of the good stories, the fun stories, the successes, but sometimes things happen when they don't go as planned, and it could have been really, really, really bad. And so we're going to talk about a little of that today on the show. Before we want to do that, real quick, I just want to say this, guys. Listen, Hans and I, while we do this podcast every single week, we put it out there for you. This show is fueled, sponsored, and promoted by Outdoor Legacy. That is the thermal and night vision hunting optic company that I own, that Hans works at, our other salesman Garrett, ladies in the office, warehouse guys. It is a full service thermal dealership, and what we're here to do is to help you figure out exactly which thermal optic that you need. Now listen, you can go anywhere and buy a thermal optic. We know that. You can go to the big box stores, you can go to the big online stores, you might be able to go to your local hunting shop. There's other people on the internet like us that sell scopes as well. But what we believe sets us apart is this. We test every single optic that we sell. We hunt with every single optic that we sell. And there's a lot of optics that we use, we don't like, and we don't sell. We do not sell every brand of thermal optic. We get asked a lot. In the comments, we get phone calls. Hey, what about this brand? I've heard good things about that brand. Guys, what our job here, we believe, is to only sell the best, to sell the premium. There's no question we could become the Walmart of thermals, and we could sell every single brand, and we could put every model from every brand up there. And all that would tell you is we're just like everybody else. We're just selling things to make money with no care about what we're selling. But that's not the way we do things. We only want to sell optics that we like, optics that we believe bring a good value for the dollar and bring something to the market that is unique, again, that will do our customers well. And because we use these optics, we know what they can do, what they can't do, and we know the ones that are just a total fail. There's also a lot of things out there that are popping up that look cheap, they look exciting. You go, man, people are saying great things on the internet about them. You've also got to be very careful because you never know what you read on the internet if it's even true. There's a lot of fake reviews. There's a lot of moles out there saying things that we know are not true. And so you got to be careful. And that is where we come in. We want to help you pick out the right optic for your needs. We want to make sure that it's exactly what you need. You can give us a call at 877-350-1818. Hans, Garrett, myself, we're here to help you figure out what you need and within your budget. We don't want you to spend more than you need or want to spend. We want you to get the most bang for your buck and have confidence in the optic that you buy, that it is the right brand, it's the right model, it's got all the right features, the image quality, the magnification, everything that you need. You can go to outdoorlegacy.com if you want to look at the optics there. If you already know the one you want, you can make that purchase there. But again, you can call us at 877-350-1818. We would love to have your business. If you want to buy from us, we want to help you. That's the service we offer for our customers. So give us a call. Hans,
Yeah.
let's talk about this show. Now, I'm going to give a disclaimer, and I'm going to
We need to
let
go
you
back to
start.
we need to do a show of exposing the industry moles. That's the
Oh
show that
man,
I want to tune in for.
there's
The guys
there's
that they do a review and give a great review on an optic, and it's like, hey, didn't that company send you that optic for free? Like, wait a
yeah,
second, is that?
exactly.
It's funny, but it's okay. Hey, we're not
That's
here to judge. We test
that's
the
right.
optics. I will say we've had companies recommend to us that we should take funding or ask for money, to do this or produce this show. For 8 years, we have not accepted any money, any payment, anything for this show. And we've done that for a reason, really, Jason, and that's to
We have.
keep the credibility of the show. But let's talk about ways that you can die with thermal. We talked about
That's right.
three ways to kill your thermal. Now
Yeah.
3 ways to die. No, I'm
Yeah,
joking.
no. So I want to tell y'all real quick. I'm gonna give this disclaimer, and we're gonna jump into it. We're going to tell you a couple, I'm going to say scary stories or what could have been horror stories or things that I know that my story has shaped the way that I hunt at night. It's shaped the way that I talk to customers and recommend scopes and the way that I talk on this show because it was something that was really it was seared into my brain, a mistake that was made that I was there for, that I helped make, and it could have been way worse. Hans was there on his story. It is something that is, again, I think about from time to time. I want to make sure these don't happen. So part of this is, hey, be careful out there at night. All right. And we're going to talk about that. But what I want to also say is, this is not, we know the mistakes were made. We're here to be vulnerable and to say these mistakes were made, don't make them, here's what we did wrong. So we don't need the keyboard commandos in the comments to tell us exactly step by step the mistakes, because we already know. We've lived with this. We have replayed these scenarios out and we go, oh man, shouldn't have done that, should have done this. So I just want to be clear, like, we get it. These are a screw up. We're being honest and saying we're not perfect. We made these mistakes. And so we hope that you can learn from this and you can maybe also understand why sometimes we're the way we are when it comes to night hunting or safety or, the distances that we recommend for thermal optics, or sometimes when we get queasy talking about these extreme long ranges and different things, so you'll kind of get an idea of what we're talking about. So Hans, I'm going to let you
feel it.
start here.
Yeah.
Jump in on this show.
I feel like there's going to be a range instructor from a firing, like a shooting range that's about to tee off on us in the
I'm
comments.
sure, and then we deserve it. So,
Direct it all to Jason. All right, so
exactly.
night hunting is dangerous, Jason. You talk about hunting in general with a rifle, with a weapon is dangerous. I think once you add the element of darkness, that also adds a layer of something that could definitely be potentially seriously. You could get seriously injured. You could get killed, and we know instances of both of those things happening. If you're a hog hunter, you know how scary and dangerous it can be when you stalk up a little bit too close, which happened to me last night on a 200-pound hog, and you're 20 yards from them, and I crested a hill at the same time with this big sow, and it's like, oh, what do I do now? Like, I can't move without them know I'm there. So night hunting, y'all, is dangerous, and I'll share some things with you that I've come in contact with. Years and years of hunting, multiple nights a week for many years. You're bound to run into some things that kind of make you just like nervous or sick to your stomach. I had a lot of that happen, actually. I will also say that you also need to keep in mind with night hunting, especially where we're at in Texas, in my small little community, there's dozens and dozens of guys of all ages, 18 to you know what, that are running around with thermal scopes and hunting at night. So you also have to realize there's also other people out there running around that may not be as adept as you. And how about that word? Or as experienced as you with this type of stuff. I've had situations where I've been on a hunting property or in our family land, and there's been people, kids, when I say kids, 20-year-old kids on a property right next to me that are calling coyotes in my direction. You can hear the caller going off. You're like, oh man, I hope that they know that I'm here. I've also, Jason, we didn't talk about this in the pre-show, but it just came to my mind. I've also been somewhat involved in I don't know how much I can say, I guess it's kind of a criminal matter from another state. I was asked to be.
You were not involved in it.
I was not.
They
was
wanted
asked
you to be an expert witness.
They wanted me to be an expert witness on thermal optics because there was a shooting that involved a group of kids that were, I say kids again, I say that loosely, y'all. You have to forgive me, that they were out coyote calling on one property, and then some young kids at another property shot in the direction of the call, which they thought was a coyote, actually ended up hitting one of the kids in the other group. So I was called in as an expert witness on thermal optics and how far you can see. And with this model, it was an older model, it's not around anymore. And just kind of knowing how far you can ID an animal. And so I was involved in that. That's those things that you hear about all the time. Specifically what has involved me, which probably, obviously I'm not going to name any names. They probably even listen to this show. But what has made me the nervous, the instance that I can say is like, oh man, we got really lucky in that situation. So during a coyote hunt, as you know, these coyote hunting tournaments are very popular all across the country, really. I mean, and a lot of times they're 24-hour tournaments or 18-hour tournaments where you're hunting partly during the day and at night. And I mean, Jason, we don't even try to hunt during the day. We only go right at night and start thermal hunting when it gets dark. There was 4 of us. We were groups of 4, teams of 4. We were out on a coyote hunting on a property doing a coyote hunt, and I remember how cold it was. It was in February, and it just everything hurt. Your fingers hurt. You had gloves on, so everything you touched, you had to kind of maneuver with these big puffy, the biggest gloves that you can find at Walmart, at 8 o'clock right before it gets dark. And I would say we shot at a coyote, and all 4 of us left the rifles on the tripod. And left him in the direction of where we shot at the coyote. I can't remember. I remember that I pointed my rifle because when I get done shooting, I always point it towards the ground. But I don't think everybody in the group did. So we all walk out. We're looking for this coyote. We're about 100 yards away from the rifles, and the rifles are pointed in our direction, which was dumb. We shouldn't have done that. It's not any particular person's mistake, it was the group's mistake. But we went out 100 and 150 yards away, and 2 of the guys were in the woods. We were on the tree line just looking around, and yes, we're walking back and forth, and these rifles are 100 yards behind us pointed at us. But you're tired, you're thinking, man, they're fine, they're on good tripods, they're not going to fall over, the wind's not going to make the rifle go off by itself. So 2 of us say, hey, we're going to go back to the rifles, and we're going to go get all the stuff. We're going to load it up in the truck, and we're going to drive over here and meet y'all and pick y'all up. So me and another buddy go back to the rifles to start breaking them down and taking them off the tripods. And my buddy, who went to grab his rifle, he went to grab our other buddy's rifle. So he went to grab somebody else's rifle. He did it I watched him. He did it very gently. It was in the tripod. He had one hand under one side, one hand on it. He was just lifting it straight up off the tripod. Somehow, a trigger got pulled while he was just lifting it straight up. And come to find out, our buddy built this rifle, and he put a 1-pound trigger pull and just a very, very light trigger. And that rifle, when he lifted it up, fired, and it fired in the direction of where our other 2 buddies were. And I don't remember, it's been a while, and it just the stress of the moment. I don't know if we called out and said, hey, are y'all okay? Or I don't know if they were cussing at us because we fired a rifle in their direction. I don't remember exactly, but we found out that they were okay after a while, after they, came back. And I can just remember how sick I felt about the whole situation, Jason. And I wasn't even the one that touched the rifle. I felt more bad for our buddy who it happened to, who actually, because I mean, these are our good friends, our hunting buddies, known them for a long time. If something would have happened and it would have been caused by one of us, I mean, that's it's a very heavy situation to deal with. So we luckily everybody was okay, but that affected him. Not just the rest of the night. I think that affected him for a long time. But just knowing how close you come to something serious happening in an experience that's supposed to be fun. Because when we get together and do a coyote hunt tournament, it is laughing, it is cutting up, it's having fun. We don't take it seriously. And then something like that happens and it changes the entire demeanor of the entire night for sure. So I will say what we learned from that and what I learned, and now we've done several coyote hunts since, and obviously have never had this issue before. We talk about it every time, I think, but we haven't had this issue, is whenever you shoot a coyote, shoot a hog, I do like to leave my rifle on the tripod when I walk to go retrieve whatever it is I'm retrieving. I do carry a pistol with me most of the time when I'm not in too big of a hurry. So if I need a pistol when I'm walking up, I have it. But that's always, if you're leaving your rifle on a tripod, is to make it where those things rotate and pivot and go up and down, so you can point it towards the ground. Even if I'm by myself, I'll still point it towards the ground just in case the wind knocks it over, whatever. It just seems like the best thing to do. And we're not here to lecture people. We're actually, I guess, Jason, we're kind of having a vulnerable moment. We're telling people how we've screwed up and don't do what we've done, because we're not perfect. We do this a lot. We hunt a lot. And when you hunt as often as we do, you have a greater, it's like insurance. You have a great, if you're doing this more often, you have a greater chance of something bad happening to you. We've just been lucky. There's been some other people that haven't been so lucky in the night hunting community. But that's kind of what we learned from that experience, Jason.
Yeah, man, it's a scary story. I've heard you tell it multiple times. Remember when it happened? You told me it scared me then. And yes, I think that everybody listens goes, well, why wasn't the rifle on safe? Why was the rifle pointed downrange? All those things are obvious now. They were obvious then, but like you said, it's a 24-hour hunting tournament. You're tired. You're cold.
3 o'clock in the morning. You're just not in the right frame. No, well, you are in the right frame of mind, but
you're not.
It takes a toll on you.
It does. And so I think that obviously, we would all agree, well, the rifle should be unsafe. The rifle should be unloaded. The rifle should be all these things. I think that the extra step is pointing that rifle at the ground, like you said. I mean, moving it, tilting it in the tripod. I think that makes the most sense, because that's something physical that everybody else there can see. I can't see if you put your rifle on safe. I don't know if you unloaded it. But pointing it at the ground, we can all see that. Oh, yeah. And I think that's a big deal. I want to move on. I want to tell you about this. And this, when I tell this story, it's not near as scary in the way of nobody almost died in this. But it's a story.
Something did.
Yeah, something almost did. This is a story that has stuck with me. I've relived this story in 1,000 times of, what would have happened. Again, nobody would almost died, but what would have happened, and what did we do wrong, and how did this? So this goes back, I don't know how many years, but a very, very long time. I say a very, very long time. I don't know what it was. Hans, were you even around back then when this happened? I don't know.
Man, you've told me this story. I've heard this story several times. I don't think I was.
I know. I'm going to say this. It's had to be close to a decade ago. Somewhere, it was between 8-10 years ago, give or take. Let's just leave it at that.
Well, it had to have been 10, because, it had to have been.
Yeah, so, you're right. Probably would have been 10. Yeah, probably. You're exactly right. So, let's just say a decade ago. Doesn't matter. I'm hunting with a couple guys that one of these guys I know. He's bought scopes from me. He's a cow man, owns, hundreds and hundreds of heads of cattle. He's got property everywhere, lease property. Always want me to come hunt with him. Good guy. I know him well. Sure, let's go hunting. He had a guy with him that was a buddy of his. Super good guy. First time I'd ever met him. And he did a lot of coyote calling, mouth calling, and entered contests and that sort of thing. Cool guy. We had a great time going out hunting. We're on this particular place that was about 800 acres. And we got out of the truck that night and we were going hog hunting. And we're getting out, getting everything geared up, scan by, and there goes two coyotes running by. We're not there to coyote hunt. I'm like, oh man, that's crazy. So we're hiking back to a couple places where these hogs are supposed to be. We get back there, hogs are there. We shoot them, we kill a bunch of hogs. We're on the way back, and we see some more coyotes. We're like, good gracious. So we start calling coyotes. One of the guys had his call in his pack with him, so we called some. Other guy was mouth calling some, and we get some coyotes in. Shoot a couple coyotes. I mean, again, we take off, kind of headed back to the truck. We're scanning around, look up there on the hill. There's a coyote again. Like, there's coyotes everywhere this night, and we're not even really calling them. They're just running around out there. So we have got coyote on the brain. This started as solely a hog hunt. Well, we get back again towards the truck, and we crest this little hill, and we stop, and we scan, and there's a coyote standing there. This is not surprising at this point. We've seen 7 or 8. We just turned off the caller 4 or 5 minutes ago. He's standing there. We all set our tripods up. All 3 of us get our rifles on, and the guy in the middle was the coyote caller, the mouth caller, and he started lip squeaking. And this coyote's out there, I don't know, 125, 150 yards maybe, give or take, something under 200. And we're all 3, on the rifles. And to be clear, I've got what is the best scope on the market at this time. All right, I got a really good scope. We're on this thing, and this coyote will not come closer, but his head is spinning. He's looking. The more this guy, lip squeaks, the more this coyote spins his head. All right, let's just take him. So, all right, guy in the middle, it's your turn. You shoot first. We're backing you up. As soon as you shoot, if that coyote runs, bolts, we're on him. Okay. 3, 2, 1, he shoots. And thankfully, by the grace of the good Lord, he missed. And when he missed, that coyote stood up, and it was about an 80-pound white-tailed doe that was laying in the grass. And when she stood up, and I don't know how he missed her, to be honest, it was a chip shot. And this guy's a good shot. He'd been nailing everything all night. When he buzzed over her back with that bullet and she stood up, all 3 of us at the exact same time start screaming, "Don't shoot, don't shoot, don't." Because we all saw it at the same. We're all afraid the other person's going to shoot. Don't shoot, don't shoot, don't shoot. And we were scared to death. We're all looking like, is there blood coming out? Did you hit her? We're just waiting on her to like fall over. Like, now what are we going to do? And we are no joke. We're panicked. And we're all in this state of, we just made a huge mistake. All 3 of us saw this was a coyote. It wasn't, anyway, long story short, this is how this plays out. We didn't hit her. She stood there, walked around, went back to eating grass. She was all good, thankfully. So it was a near miss. It was a huge mistake. But that has taught me something. Now, I've replayed that 100 times, 1,000 times. And in my mind now, it was always a deer. It makes sense. That's why it wouldn't come.
Yeah.
That's why it didn't run away. It didn't take a step. It didn't do anything, because it was a deer laying down. It was not a coyote. Yeah. And again, you can listen to this and say, I would never make that mistake. It's so obvious. But the conditions were perfect for this. It was coyote on the brain, coyotes everywhere. We just turn the collar off. We crest the hill. There the coyote is. It's within an easy shooting distance. We don't need to get it closer. It's not coming. Let's shoot. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it just is what it is. So because of that, it has made me so much more careful, even now a decade later, and it's shaped the way that Hans and I, and you know Garrett, that when we're talking to customers, we've all had these experiences of maybe we didn't shoot, but we said, "Hey, there's hogs out there," and they lift their heads up, and it's a deer in tall
Mm-hmm.
grass, and that back of that deer looked like a hog,
Mm-hmm.
or the same situation. You look out there, and anybody that's a coyote hunter that hunts in any kind of grass, if they've got white-tailed deer, especially, you know,
Mm-hmm.
these East Texas whitetails are not big.
Yeah.
If you haven't ever looked out there in the grass and said, "Is that a coyote or a deer?" I mean, you may can tell. You may can sit there and, "Oh, okay, that's a deer." But if you haven't ever asked that, even for a split second, then I don't know what to say. You probably
Yeah.
haven't hunted enough, or I don't know what the answer is. But my point is, and I'm going to be careful here. There's a lot of long range shooters. There are. And there's a lot more guys getting into nighttime long range hunting. We've got all the ballistic calculators and the laser rangefinders. It's just something that I think I've was there for this mistake, and
Mm-hmm.
I've also been wrong enough times that I figured it out and didn't pull the trigger. That I'm not comfortable shooting at those extreme long ranges for a lot of other reasons, and I'm not comfortable necessarily encouraging it or telling people, "Hey, yeah, you know, you take this this scope." I mean, I saw a guy this week commenting on the internet about a scope that Hans and I are familiar with. I would tell you it's got a positive identification of a coyote at under 150 yards, and I mean it's being generous. And
Mm-hmm.
this guy was telling someone who was looking at purchasing it that you could kill coyotes at close to 350 yards with it, and that he does it. And I was just aghast. I mean, so much so that I screenshotted this and sent this to Hans and Garrett both. I'm like, "Hey guys, y'all know this. Look at this. Can you
Mm-hmm.
and there's people now, whether this guy's lying, maybe he doesn't really do that. Maybe it's the internet and he just tells people that, but he's encouraging other people to do that.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying, "Go buy this scope and do this." It scares us.
Yeah.
I don't want somebody to shoot a deer thinking it's a coyote. I don't want somebody to shoot a deer with its head down in the grass thinking that it's a hog. I don't want somebody to shoot the farmer's dog, or to shoot a baby calf or a cat or whatever. And I don't want
Yeah.
that for anybody, for all the reasons, not just even the legal reasons, but the, "Oh my gosh, now I got to go, you know, tell the farmer I shot
Mm-hmm.
his calf or I shot
Mm-hmm.
his whatever." It's an issue and it's a concern, and it makes me, and I know that Hans as well, just try to be so careful. And if that means waiting longer and not taking that shot, or saying, "You know what, I want to get that animal another 100 yards. I'm not
Yeah.
going to take that shot. This is it's fixing to go in the woods. I think that's got to be a coyote. I don't know." Split second, let it go. It's just, I don't know. It's just changed me and the way that I hunt and the way that I approach night hunting.
What it seems like, whatever you're doing, whatever you're hunting, if you're a coyote hunter or hog hunting, it seems like everything you see, your brain tries to tell you it's oh,
It's
you're
true.
coyote hunting, so it's a coyote, or I'm hog hunting, that looks like a hog. It's your brain tricks you. But yeah, I would say that that's good to know. To me, my encouragement for not taking long range shots is because of video quality. I think that I like getting video of shooting a coyote when it runs right up in your face, or a hog when you stalk up to 20 or 30 yards. To me, as a content creator, I think that those videos do better. They actually do when you
Yeah.
get up close. But whenever you see a video of somebody shooting a coyote at 300 yards, it's like, oh, great, you shot a dot and the dot fell over, and so that's my encouragement. I like, man, I want to get really close, good quality video, because I think that that's more enjoyable. The last thing I'll say, Jason, and we can close it up because we've probably gone longer than we even thought we were going to go. The situation that makes me the most nervous, and it's a situation that I get involved in, not as much as I used to, but sometimes I will take hunters out with me to go. I don't guide hunt, but sometimes with buddies or buddies of buddies, I'll take them out. And there have been situations where the people are new to hunting. They've never night hunted before. They may have never even hog or coyote hunted before. So they're out there trying to get a crash course on everything. I've had situations where it's not just new hunters, but you got way too many. I've had guys that they've showed up with. To me, more than 3, including myself, makes me nervous. So me and 2 other people. So if it's me and 3 or 4 or 5 other people, that's just more a greater chance of something going wrong. But the situation that makes me the most nervous, and what I feel like is probably the most dangerous, is when you have a group of like 3 or 4 or 5 hunters that walk out into a field, and there's a big group of hogs, and all the shooters line up side by side with tripods. And after that first shot, when you got 20 hogs and every single one of them are running in different directions, and you've got guys turning, shooting to the right, shooting to the left, you've got hogs that are circling around the sides of you and coming behind you, and you just have rifles and shots going everywhere, and it's 30 seconds of chaos. That, to me, it can be fun when you're with people that you hunt with a lot, but it also is probably the most dangerous when you talk about not just accidentally shooting something you're not. What if you're just spraying bullets and you shoot a cow that's behind the group of hogs when you're turning that you don't see, or turning the rifle on somebody beside you if you're not close enough. So those, Jason, I just want to throw that out there. That to me, I feel like is probably the most. And coyote too, coyote hunters, if you're coyote, you're lined up and the coyote starts running, it's a little bit easier because it's 1 or 2, they're running in the different directions or whatever. But that to me is the best chance to have a very tragic accident, is when you're lining up and you're shooting and animals are running everywhere.
Yeah, I agree, man. It's a great sport. We love it. I mean, obviously we encourage it. We're selling optics and getting people into it for the first time, as well as helping guys who've been doing it longer than we have. And it's just one of those things. This isn't just a safety talk. It's more of a, here's what went wrong. It happened to us. Don't let it happen to you. And this is, it's one of those things in any, sport or hobby or career, trade. The guys that have been doing it the longest have seen some stuff, and those guys are you kind of like, why is that guy this way? Well, this is probably why, and that's just, we don't want to be the fuddy-duds out there. We don't want to be the guys that rain on the parade and don't have any fun, but we do want to say, man, let's slow down. Let's be sure we're safe. Let's be sure we know what we're shooting at. Let's just be sure, because there's a lot of excitement, especially even guys that have been doing this a long time.
Oh yeah.
When the animal shows up, whatever you're shooting at, hogs, coyotes, coons, I don't care what it is, there's a lot of excitement. We hear it all the time. I couldn't remember to hit the record button. I didn't remember to hit that record button because I was so excited. And that excitement, that adrenaline rush can just cause this momentary lack of the knowledge and the sense and the things that you would always do, and you make one little mistake. So that's basically it. But guys, go ahead, Hans.
Yeah, experience does not exclude you from tragic accidents, whether it's from you directly or from somebody in your group. It doesn't exclude you at all. It does, though, give you a better understanding of what we should do. And that's when I say we, me, Jason, everybody included, we've been guilty of a lot of things that we've talked about. And so it's a reminder, though, of like, okay, this trumps, me, taking this one extra safety step is more important than shooting that hog because there's always going to be another hog. There's always going to be another coyote. I don't
That's
have to
right.
take that 300-yard shot that's really questionable because tomorrow I can come out and hunt again and shoot another coyote. So I will say this, y'all. We've talked about some pretty. If you do this enough, you probably like, yep, I've been in that situation. Yep, I know exactly what he's talking about. If you've hunted enough at night, then you've probably experienced this. If you're kind of new to these are some things to kind of learn from, to draw from. Again, when you're hunting at night, you know, the weapons you're using, the scopes you're using, the fact that you're adding darkness to that where you can't see during at night, and you're trying to fumble around and use all this stuff and line up and get in the right position and make sure you got everything ready to go. Just watch this video, send it to a buddy, and in that way, you can at least know you've got a little bit of a better understanding of what not to do, because we've done it too. If you are, we've talked about all this dangerous stuff. If you want to buy a thermal scope, we would love to sell you one. We do have a lot of experience doing this, y'all. We hunt with all these optics. Jason mentioned we don't sell every brand. I'll take that a step further. We don't even sell every optic from the brands that we do work with.
That's correct.
We test them all. We do have our favorites. There's some that we recommend. There's some that we don't. To find that out, if you want to know why, if you're looking to buy an optic, you want to buy from Outdoor Legacy, many of you do. You see the shows and they say, the only reason I'm calling is because I saw your podcast and I like you guys. Well, we appreciate that. maybe we get a little bit more of that. We really appreciate you watching. If you want to buy an optic from Outdoor Legacy, outdoorlegacy.com, 877-350-1818. We can have a better conversation over the phone about what might be right for you, so that you can be confident that when you spend that money, that you're doing it wisely, and that you're going to get something that you love, and not something that you're like, oh man, why did I get this? I'm going to have to turn around, sell it, and get something else. Make sure that you know exactly what you need. And that comes from having good conversations with people that have used all this stuff. Jason,
All right,
why don't you
guys.
tell people,
Hope you,
where
yeah,
to
hope
find
you
us?
enjoyed the show. You can all. Oh, what'd you say?
I forgot to tell people where to find us, but
Well, that's what I was just
they're
fixing to
here.
do. No, I was gonna say if you want to find more, the late night vision show, Hans's channel, HANSETX, Hanses Texas, Outdoor Legacy. We're on all the socials, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Please like, subscribe, give us a follow, whatever it is. We'd really appreciate that. And we hope to see y'all again next week. Guys, I know this is going to sound crazy, but we are about a month and a half away, give or take, from our best of 2025 series. Those will be kicking off. The plan is in October to get those things rolling. That's what we did last year. So, guys, you want to subscribe to this channel. You're not going to want to miss those. That is by far our most popular, listened to, and watched episodes of the year, every single year. So, best of the best thermal and night vision optics of 2025. Those shows will be coming up in a month or two. Between now and then, guys, y'all stay safe. Hope to see you again soon.